there guys, like I said in my last video, I have a book haul of all of the books I got in the 2 months I was away. So while I was away in Arkansas, I got 16 books, which is quite a larger book haul than I usually do. So I've divided this kind of poorly into middle grade, young adult, and adult. The first book I got is my only middle grade book, and that is Storybound by Marissa Burt, which is the story of a young girl who finds a book in her basement and is written in to a fairy tale world, and she has to figure out why and how to get home. The next book I showed in my last video, because I am currently reading it, it is The Lost Hero by Rick Riordan. This is the first in the Heroes of Olympus series, which is the follow-up of the Percy Jackson series. I'm really enjoying this one, and I just love it. The next one I got was Etiquette and Espionage by Gail Carriger. This is the first in the Finishing School series and Carriger's only young adult series. It was pretty good. She also wrote the Parasol Protectorate series, which I've read Soulless, the first book, and adored. This was a little bit of a letdown, but much more of a, I guess, young adult book. I'm not sure. It was decent. The last young adult book that I got was Princess of the Midnight Ball, which is a retelling by Jessica Day George of 12 Dancing Princesses, and that's kind of all I know about this book. I think it's going to be pretty good just because I've been waiting for it for so long, and I really loved the story when I was little of the 12 Dancing Princesses, so I have high hopes. The first book I got is by Daphne Kalaté, and that is Russian Winter. This is the story of a Russian ballet dancer who has chosen to auction off all of her jewels, and as she goes through them to set them all for auction, she remembers back on her life, and that is that story. The next one I got is The Love Letter by Catherine Shine, which is the story of a woman who works in a bookshop and finds a love letter that asks, "How do you fall in love?" and then finds out exactly how that happens. The Blood of Flowers by Anita Amrezvani. I'm really bad at Eastern names and Middle Eastern and anything that's not Western European. This is a story of a Persian girl whose father dies and is left without a dowry. She finds work as a servant in a house and then finds out that she has a talent in weaving carpets. It's basically just the story of her life. With these books, I try not to know too much about them before I start reading them, because I think it's more fun that way to see someone's life unfold as it would. Four Sisters of Hofei. It's a history story about four sisters living in 21st century China as it evolves and becomes more 21st century and industrialized. It's a very interesting time in history, and I'm kind of excited to read about it.
Don't fall down.
The next one I got is about Indian culture, and it's Sisters of the Sari by Brenda L. Baker. This is the story of two unlikely friends who find each other in India. One lives in India, the other is a doctor on vacation-ish thing, and just about how they come together and become great friends. It's like a balancing act. The next one I know very little about, but it is highly ranked, and that is The Tiger's Wife by Taya Obrecht. This was one of the top 10 New York Times best book review things, so that speaks very highly of it. All I really know is that a granddaughter wants to figure out why her grandfather died and what caused his death. And through doing that, she learns the legend of the tiger's wife and just a bunch of culture she never really knew. Next one I have is by Tracy Chevalier, The Lady and the Unicorn. You may recognize this author as the author of Girl with a Pearl Earring, which is one of the top world sellers, I think. It was also a book night book, and I only bought it. I have no idea really what it's about except a lady and a unicorn. I only bought it because it's based on the tapestry. This beautiful tapestry, which is called The Lady and the Unicorn, and it has a really interesting history, which you should Google. The American Heiress by Daisy Goodwin. This was a New York Times bestseller. Looks pretty. It's about an heiress who goes to America is the closest thing that American society has to a princess, but her mother wants more. Whisks her away to England to get a title. And that's what I know, and I think it sounds fun. The Toss of a Lemon by Padma Viswanathan. This was given to me by Tiffany of Bookish Bells, and she said it's really good. It's about Indian culture, and the author's apparently really nice, so she sold me. Books behave. The Wednesday Letters by Jason Wright. The premise of this story is that a husband for 50 years wrote a letter to his wife every Wednesday, and as they lay on their deathbed, he writes one last letter. Then his children come in and find these thousands of letters and read through them and see their parents' marriage from the inside.
My books fell down.
Next, I have what I believe is the newest in the Immortals After Dark series by Cressley Cole. This is Lofair. This is a #1 New York Times bestseller, apparently. This is a romance book that I have yet to read, and I'm excited to read it because I love this series a whole lot. And finally, The Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I bought the first 4 of these in a box set. This is obviously only the first one. The box set is still packed out from Arkansas, but I wanted to show this. I have yet to read it, but I adore the television series, and I hear that the books are even better. So I have 15 books, which adds up to 44 unread books, plus 3 from the library, so that's 47 books. Oh goodness. Guys, I need help. So, I'll see you next time.